The Eagles lose 20-14. They are no longer undefeated, and the big play at the end is a 3rd-and-9 interception by Tony Adams, who takes it back. The Jets then score a touchdown. The Eagles let them score, thinking they have a chance to get back into the game with 1:43 or whatever it was. The 4th Eagles turnover of the day, the 3rd interception by Jalen Hurts, and poof, just like that, the Eagles' undefeated record is gone. In fact, there are no longer undefeated teams in the NFL today. This is the Lehocky Postgame Show. I'm Mike Missinelli, Derek Gunn, Seth Joyner. This is stunned. We're stunned in disbelief. This was a game where you thought they didn't play their best, but the Jets could not score, and then all of a sudden you let them hang around, and that result happens.
You know, Mike, first of all, who would have thought the 49ers and the Eagles both would have lost on the same day? Cleveland playing without Deshaun Watson. They beat the 49ers. And the Jets, the top 4 defensive backs are gone. Their wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, got hurt and came back in the game. And they turn around and lose to this team. One of my trusted confidants on the field for the Eagles just texted me a few moments ago. Now, normally I don't like to swear, but he said, we played like ass. And I hate to say that, but I can't find a better description, Seth, can you, in terms of how to describe the way the Eagles played this game today? I never thought this Jets defense could hold this team to under 25, 26 points in this game.
Well, we knew that the Jets had a good defense, but I think it's a combination of two things that work here. One, we talked about in the pregame, you have to respect your opponent in the National Football League because there's a reason why you play the game. Second of all, I just didn't think the Eagles did a very good job of coaching, in my opinion. I think Jalen Hurts at times looked confused on the field. Those 3 interceptions, he really didn't look like he knew where to go with the ball, what to do with the ball. When a quarterback is confused in that manner, to me, that goes more to the coach than it does the player because it's the coach's job to take the pawns on the board and the pieces on the board and be able to manipulate them in a way where you can have success. Just a disappointing game across the board. Even from a defensive perspective. And I get it. It was like a mass unit. Every time you turn around, somebody else is going out of the game. But at the other end of the spectrum, too, on the offensive side, you've got to help Jack Driscoll. You can't ask Jack Driscoll to do what Lane Johnson does all by himself in obvious passing situations. And D-Gun, I said it at the beginning of the game. When I asked John, I'm like, where does the team rank run the pass, okay? And he was like, this is a game where, the Eagles are going to feel like they can go out and throw the football and win the football game. And I said, what? So you telling me they're going to throw it 50 times today? Jalen Hurts threw the ball 50 times today. Now, it's not going to look like it says 45 on the sheet, but when you look at those plays where he took off and he scrambled, he had over 50 passing attempts. That, in my opinion, is criminal. You're the #1 rushing team in the National Football League, and you're playing against a defense that's ranked 29th against the run.
140.
And you come out and you throw the ball 50 damn times? Come on, man. Come on.
The Jets sat in a zone, and really Jalen was forced to play sandlot football today.
He wasn't.
He was flipping out of the pocket. He was flipping out of the pocket the whole time.
So answer this question for me, okay? Why does every other team have cover 2 beaters, cover 3 beaters, cover 4 beaters, cover 6 beaters, and you're going to tell me that Jalen Hurts can't sit in the pocket and dissect the zone?
Well, did he? Did it look like he was doing that?
Okay, so then talk to me about the routes. Why, if everybody else can do it?
I don't know what the play calls were today. All I know is that he had to scramble out of that pocket constantly and didn't look like he was comfortable sitting in a pocket to throw against his own.
And
maybe he saw ghosts out there.
And
I don't know what it was.
And I said it in the pregame. I was like, this is a game where Jalen Hurts is going to have to stand in the pocket, okay, and dissect the zone. Because when you're down to your 5th and 6th cornerback, they're starting. Your top 4 cornerbacks are out. Guess what they're going to play? They're not going to play man. They're going to play zone.
Exactly. So
then you have to.
Whose fault is it then? Is it the play calling or is it the quarterback not recognizing that?
It's got to be a combination because there's only so many. You got a single high safety. There's only so many zones you can play. right? If you got 2 high safeties, there's only so many zones you can play.
To
so
me,
if
it
you're
looked like
zone,
the zone presented a lot of personnel that he saw. That he saw various guys in the area, and he was reluctant to stay in that pocket and deliver that football. And the last play, the interception, was just like that.
Well,
he actually forced that ball with 2 guys sitting in his zone.
When you're playing a zone, okay, early in the game, what they did is there was a lot of balls that went to DeAndre Swift. Why? Because they're sitting back in the zone. If you're going to release 5 guys into a route, okay, and you only got 4 guys underneath, that means there's somebody that's going to be open in the zone. And more times than not, that's either the back to the flat or that's the running back coming out running the F under. Take the 4 or 5 yards on first down if you're going to throw the ball. You're not going to be able to push the ball down the field against zone, especially against fast defenses like the Jets and guys who sit back and read the quarterback. But if you try to push the ball down the field, you wait for routes to develop down the field, guess what's going to happen? Your quarterback is going to have to run. He's going to have to scramble. He's going to have to make plays with his legs the way that Jalen Hurts was forced to do. And then when defensive coordinators are smart enough to keep you in the pocket, now he's forcing you to operate from the pocket. And Jalen Hurts couldn't do it today.
All right, well, let's also add to the equation. You have to give the Jets' defensive front some credit, because once Lane Johnson went out of the game, they put the heat on Jalen Hurts. How many times they forced him out of the pocket and force him to either throw the ball away or force him to throw on the run? Now, to your point, there were some times when Jalen had to make snap decisions. He did. Devontae Smith, uncustomary, drops 2 balls. Kenneth Gainwell on a key throw, could have been a first down, dropped the ball.
I agree.
So other players also contributed to this as well. But once Lane Johnson went out, Robert Saleh and those guys identified, here's what we're going to do. And they kept bringing safeties down in the box, corners down in the box, and you're thinking, wait a minute, you're going to leave the number 5, 6, 7, and 8 cornerbacks one-on-one with the likes of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Robert Saleh took a riverboat gambler approach to this game today. He forced the issue.
Well, he picked his spots.
Yeah.
He picked his spots, but they played a lot of zone.
Yes, they did.
And then the issue is, if you're sitting there and you're watching Jack Driscoll get beat like a war drum, okay? At some point in time, from a protection standpoint, you got to say, okay, we got to go to 12 personnel. If your intent is to keep Dallas Goedert on the field, and you want him involved in the pass, then you have to go 12 personnel, and you got to keep Jack Driscoll in on the right side to help, not Jack Stoll, I should say. You got to keep him in to help Jack Driscoll. You can't just leave him. He was getting beat on every single play.
What did I tell you when they brought him in? I said they should have put him at guard. You can't put him at tackle. So the same thing happened with him last year when Lane Johnson went out of a game. He got beat like a drum. I don't know why Nick Sirianni chose to put him back at the tackle spot. I would have put him at right guard and moved somebody else out to tackle. He's a much better guard than he is a tackle, and he got exposed on that right side.
If you're going to play him, then you have to help him.
Yes, you do.
Especially when you get in a second and long and third and long situations, and it's an obvious passing situation, you have to give him help.
Listen, there's no question that Lane Johnson going out early in the game hurt them. But Driscoll is their backup tackle, D-Gun. I mean, that's how they list him as the backup tackle.
Mike, he was the backup tackle last year. They should have learned their lesson then.
But they didn't learn their lesson.
Exactly.
So that's definitely a factor. But let me just say, the Eagles' defense saved their butt in a lot of ways today. The Jets were 0 for 3 in the red zone until that last touchdown, which the Eagles gave them. So the Eagles' defense really churned it up today to keep them out of the end zone. Now, it's not the greatest offense, and this is not the greatest quarterback as far as seeing the field. But the Eagles' defense, I thought, was really on a mission to save them today when the offense wasn't doing anything. You mean to tell me you don't score a point in the second half?
No.
Seriously.
So it was one of those dog day afternoons.
So let me ask you guys this question, okay? Are you just going to let them walk in the end zone, or the success that your defense has had, even if the situation is what it is? So if they kick the field goal, they're up by 1. But I would rather do that than let them walk in the end zone knowing that you got to go the other way and score a touchdown.
Yeah, but what other alternative did they really have? That they were going to chew up the clock there and kick a field goal to win.
They had 3 timeouts. Just use the timeout.
No, they were down to 2. They were down to 2.
Yeah, because they lost one.
Let it be what it is. At least I'm going to let my defense try to minimize the damage. I would rather minimize the damage than give up 7. You give up 7, now it's not 3 that you're going to get that's actually going to help you get back into the game. You need 7 back the other way.
I think most coaches would do the same thing, though. Let them score
I've seen
because
teams,
they're going to burn that clock down. And the fact of the matter is, you got to have faith in your offense to get the ball down the field. Finally, and Hurts did make a great third down conversion on that drive until he foolishly threw into that guy Goddard was gated there, and you got to be able to see that play. That's just a horrible play.
I tell you what he thought was really going to happen is you had the guys dropping. You had A.J. running the route on the outside. I promise you, he thought that guy on the outside would go and help A.J. and that he could get that guy inside. But that's what I'm saying. It's one of those situations where, listen, you got to give Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh is a defensive genius, man. You got to give him a lot of credit because in the second half, the Eagles' offense didn't do anything, okay? It's not like he went and found some new players in the second half, D-Gun, and all of a sudden figured out how to stop this offense.
True.
He employed some things and made some adjustments at halftime, that confused the hell out of not only Jalen Hurts, but it confused the hell out of Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni. They had no answer for what they saw in the second half whatsoever.
I understand that, but on the same token, the Jets – their only third down conversions came on that one drive where they got the 12th point on a field goal. I mean, the Eagles' defense had really shut them down completely. Somewhere along the line, when you have that final drive, and you plan for that final drive, right? You let them score. You plan for the final drive. You're showing faith in your offense to get the ball down the field, and he makes a terrible, terrible decision. I know that Jalen Hurts has rewarded this town with a lot of great play. That's a terrible decision when you're trying to beat a team that you're better than. You've got to be able to get that ball back down the field.
And listen, there was a lot of bad decisions, okay? And the defense held up as long as it could. You asked the defense to do a lot. But the one thing that the defense can't overcome is 4 turnovers on the other side of the ball, okay? The odds say that after 2 turnovers, the percentages go down exponentially if you win in the football game. 4 turnovers?
No,
I mean, you can't turn the ball over that much.
But the 4th turnover is what prevents them from winning the game. They still have a chance with 3 turnovers to win the game if he doesn't get intercepted there.
Yeah, but you're talking about ifs, okay? I can talk about ifs. If A.J. Brown is running full speed, that's a touchdown instead of that ball being overthrown. If Devontae Smith doesn't drop 2 or 3 balls, those are converted, first downs instead of us having to punt. There's a whole lot of ifs.
I get it. My point is,
there's enough ifs and fits to go around for everybody.
I totally get it. My point, it comes down to a final drive that they did not complete to win the game.
All right, let's look at it like this. How many times have the Eagles escaped this season in games they could have lost? Okay? Every now and then the laws of averages catch up to you. Now, this was by far their worst performance of the season, no question about that. But when you think about
defensively,
you think about but look.
Yeah,
the offense had off day.
Yeah, it was.
Defensively, no, it
Yeah, it was.
The offense
you
had
let
an off
Zach
day.
Wilson, who looked pedestrian in every other game that he played, you allowed him to find confidence.
Okay? Where? Where did he find confidence?
He
couldn't get the ball in the end zone.
He didn't have to get it in the end zone. He didn't have to
You're
get
not
it in the
going
end
to
zone.
win that game with 4 field goals?
He didn't turn the ball over.
No.
I promise you, this is probably the first game he's played this year that he hadn't turned the ball over. And I know his numbers. Yeah, 19 for 33, 186
and he got sacked
yards.
5 times.
And
Zach Wilson didn't do anything to win this damn game.
he did enough to help the defense hang around long enough to do what they needed to do.
Their offense did nothing. With Zach Wilson, Breece Hall had 12 carries at 39 yards. They lose this game? Are you kidding me? You got to be able to outscore.
When you turn the ball over 4 times,
that team should not be able to outscore
you. You turned it over 4 times,
field goal position.
He did nothing.
Yes, he got him in field goal position.
He got to the red zone and didn't get it in the end zone 4 times.
He got him in field goal position, didn't he?
And that's not going to win. The Eagles still have the lead, even if they get 4 field goals. They have the lead.
They have the lead by 2 points, Mike.
They have the lead.
They had the lead by 2 points.
They probably would have won the game if Hurts is not intercepted.
There you go with them ifs again. If ifs and fifs.
Like I said off the top.
Let's not give the Jets credit for doing anything offensively.
Why not?
They didn't do anything offensively.
But they did enough on the turnovers they got from their defense to stay with their striking distance.
What did they do, Derek?
They stayed with their striking distance, Mike. That's all they needed was a chance. The defense held one of the most potent offenses in the NFL
if
to
Hurts
14
doesn't
points.
make a terrible throw, the Eagles win the game.
Guess what, Mike?
There you
Every
go.
quarterback makes bad plays. Hurts made abundance of them today. Okay?
All right, and
you have
now
weapons
he
to
took 2
draft.
cases. Number 1, he was intercepted. Number 2, they didn't get the ball down the field after they let the Jets score.
What about the guys who drop passes who normally don't drop passes? That's part of the
you're looking
equation
at
as well.
Total game. I'm focused on when you have to win a game and you have to make plays and you have the ball in your hands and you don't do it.
Mike,
you're a good team. You're supposed to be able to win
Mike,
that game.
you're
every
talking about-
team has an off game, and this was their worst game of the season, Mike.
You're talking about situations. Listen, those types of situations you're talking about, the odds say that when you operate in that manner, sooner or later, it doesn't work out for you, okay? The Eagles didn't lose the game at the end. The Eagles lost this game way back in the first half when they didn't score enough points and they didn't take care of the football when it was warranted, okay?
I
You
get all
put yourself when you put yourself in that situation where you got to go down and score at the end. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
It
for the most
out
part,
more for a team that's undefeated. It should work out for a team that supposedly is the 1 or 2 team in the NFC.
hey, listen, it didn't work out for the San Francisco 49ers today either, did it?
They played a better team.
Without their starting quarterback.
Team?
Without their starting quarterback,
Well,
they still
okay,
lost.
but Cleveland's defense is a highly ranked defense.
And Robert
defense
Saleh
is a highly
What
rated
the Niners
defense.
did today is irrelevant to me.
No,
what the Eagles did today is relevant.
It's all relevant.
And they gave that
It's all
game
relevant.
away.
You want to know why it's relevant? Because the Eagles blew an opportunity to take the number 1 seed in the NFC conference.
Yes.
That's why it's relevant. That's why what the 49ers did today was relevant. When they took the field, when they came in at halftime, they knew that all they had to do was win this game today, and they would have been the number 1 seed in the National Football Conference. Okay?
Also, the 49ers were coming off a tougher game the week before than the Eagles were. So, but again, this is not I don't care about the 49ers. What I care about is this team was supposed to be a good team, and they gave this game away with the lead. And the Jets did nothing to deserve winning that game. The Eagles gift-wrapped a game for them.
Okay, but hold up, Mike. Is Kansas City a good team?
Yes.
They gave away the season opener. Is Buffalo a good team?
Are we into
They've given away 2
here?
games. Is Miami a good team? They've given away a team as well. Is Detroit a good team? They've given away. It happens, Mike. That's the laws of averages in football.
It sounds like you're letting this team off the hook.
We're not letting them off the hook. They had a bad day today. They had a dog day afternoon, and they got bit. They got bit today, Mike.
You're making a blanket statement about the Eagles, and you're not realizing that it works. It works the same way with every other team. It works the same way.
Listen. The Eagles had the lead in this game. They would have still had the lead. They would have won the game had he not thrown a foolish interception on 3rd down. That's my point. And then once they got the ball back, they couldn't do it again. I don't understand how you two can sit here and say, well, it happens in the NFL.
It does happen because every quarterback in the NFL throws a bad interception, Mike. Look at the teams this Eagles team has faced this year. They have faced a collection of some of the best defensive minds in the game, all right? Bill Belichick, Brian Flores, and now Robert Saleh. Okay, eventually somebody was going to find some way, somehow, to get the best of this team. It happens, Mike. It doesn't mean they're a bad team.
It means
they had a bad team. You just said they were a bad team.
With the Jets, I said.
No, you said the Eagles were a bad team today. They're still a good team, Mike.
I didn't say they weren't a good team.
They're
obviously a good team.
Mike,
That's why I'm so disappointed.
I got news for you, Mike.
One question.
They're going to lose another game, too. They might lose 2 or 3 more games this season, Mike.
One question, Mike.
Yeah.
Did you expect for this team to go undefeated?
I expected them to beat the Jets.
No, did you? No, that's not the question I asked.
You keep talking in parables
that's not,
here. Like,
that's not
I am not looking at the 49ers. I am not looking at what they have to face in the future.
Did you expect for them to go undefeated?
I expected them to be undefeated when they played the Miami Dolphins. Yes, I did. And they should have been undefeated.
Okay.
All right?
So they're not allowed to have an off day?
I can't believe what I'm hearing from you guys.
Why not? Why not?
You guys are like milquetoast today.
Look, really? Because look at everybody. Look at every
way
good
to lose
team.
a game against a bad football
Look
team.
at every good team in the National Football League has lost at least 1 game, Mike. It happens. There's so much parity in this league. Anybody can win on any given Sunday.
My
Do you not
God,
understand
I can't
this?
believe what I'm hearing here.
Why not?
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Why?
It happens. Look at the way this game ended. We mean it happens.
It happens,
The Eagles
Mike.
had total
It
control
happened.
of this game. They had the lead until the guy throws it a pick.
Mike,
the
it happened.
worst thing you could do is
It
give
happened.
them the football.
Whatever Robert Saleh did worked for him that didn't work for the predecessor coordinating
listen.
defense.
All
It
right.
worked for him today.
Okay.
Whatever it was.
You're
All right,
searching for
let me-
you're searching for perfection in a game that's very, very imperfect, Mike. I mean, sometimes things just happen. See, listen, Jalen Hurts thought that he had a guy open. He really didn't have him open. He didn't recognize the coverage, and things like that happen sometimes.
You guys are taking it a lot lighter than I am.
I'm not taking it light at all, man.
You're taking it very light, both of you.
I got plenty of
I'm very
criticism.
disappointed.
I got plenty of criticism, and we got another 2 hours of this, and I got a TV show of this and a podcast of this
Wait,
week.
You know what?
All right?
I'm in the mood. I'm in the mood right now to look for some IT engineering manufacturing people. That's right. That's what I want to do. So if you're looking right now to hire in the IT engineering, manufacturing, or technology fields, then contact Gary Kane and his team at Kane Partners Staffing Solutions. And here's how you can connect.
Staffing is not easy, but that's what we do every day, all day. The key to our success is storytelling, asking the right questions to find the right people. I'm Gary Kane, president of Kane Partners. We want to be your staffing partner.
All right. So some shocking things happened in this game, not the least of which was Jake Elliott misses a 37-yard field goal. All right. Some weird things happen in this game. I'm not suggesting that teams don't have a bad game every now and then, but this bad game happened when they had the lead, and a good team usually closes out a bad team. That's the only platform that I'm coming from today, and apparently it's okay to lose in this fashion on this set. So go ahead. Have at it, D-Gun. Have at it. It's okay to lose.
Is it not okay? Would you expect – what's the last team to go undefeated? The 72 Dolphins? Did you not expect there's going to be some landmines somewhere along the way in the National Football League?
Yes. I did not expect the Eagles to go
Today was that landmine.
Did
It
not
happened, Mike.
I didn't expect them to go undefeated.
I'm not giving the Eagles a mulligan for this game.
Expect them to lose to this
I
crap
didn't either.
offensive
Mike,
team.
if I was a betting man, I would have bet the house the Eagles would have blown this team out by at least 13 points.
All right, then you're with me.
It didn't happen.
And so that's
didn't
my
happen, Mike.
sense
Plain
of
and simple. Didn't
disappointment,
happen.
why it's so heavy that they lost to this team. And they had the lead in the end.
And? Did they have the lead when the game was over? Did they have the lead when the game was over? The laws of circumstances said he lost.
Earlier, we talked about,
Mike.
the Jets made them do this. The Jets offense did. The Jets offense did squat.
Think about
Zach Wilson passed for 155 yards in this game.
There's a lot of other
Brees Hall
intangibles.
rushed for 39. What did they do?
There's a lot of other intangibles that figure into this game, Mike. First of all, you lose a future Hall of Fame right tackle, right? If you're a good defensive mind, what are you going to try to do? Exploit that side of the field. Your automatic kicker missed a chip shot field goal. This man's made a 54-61. He misses a 30-something-yard field goal, Mike. It was just one of these dog day afternoons, man. And I'm not disagreeing with him. I'm just saying.
So, in other words, I'm supposed to say.
What are you going to do?
I'm supposed to say when Jack Driscoll is the right tackle,
yes,
I'm supposed to expect that the Eagles aren't going to score a point in the second half.
No,
I'm supposed to expect that.
No, you're supposed to expect that Jalen Hurts is going to have to watch his right side more than when Lane Johnson's in there, which could disrupt the timing and the chemistry of certain offensive plays.
And every time he rolled out of the pocket, he had a chance to complete something. And he did.
A lot of
some
times
people dropped balls, and he made some great plays coming out of that way.
How many did he have to throw away also? Because nothing was open downfield.
How's nothing open down the field when you're playing in zone?
Look, obviously, whatever Robert Saleh did showed him a mirage of things, because this is not the first time we've seen Jalen Hurts roll out of a pocket, and when you look at the replay, you see somebody standing wide open in the middle of the field. He throws the ball away or throws it to the wrong receiver. This is not the first time it happened. He made some incredible escape moves today. Made some incredible plays to stay alive.
Yes, he did.
Whether he threw a pass, whether he ran the football. But there were those plays when nothing was open down the field. He threw it out of bounds.
And
What you do?
They scored 2 touchdowns out of 3 times they got into the red zone. You mean mean to tell me that we can excuse the fact that they don't get to the red zone in the second half?
Hey, look, the fact that they went 2 for 3 in the red zone is a miracle considering this team was 42% in the red zone this year. Okay? They got 2. That's a plus. They figured out something. That's a plus. What else do you want, Mike?
Right.
Now, okay, granted, this is an explosive offense averaging 28 points a game.
Yeah.
All right, guess what? As bad as the Jets' defense looks on paper, they only give up 21 a game.
They're a good defense.
Okay, then. Something had to give in this game, and unfortunately, it gave for the team with the lesser personnel. It happens, Mike.
You're not going to convince me this "it happens" premise. It's not going to sink in with me today. The Jets
Seth,
were a team that
man.
could not
Talk to him,
score a touchdown in this game until the Eagles handed them one because they wanted to get the ball back. And I'm supposed to sit here and say it happens?
Talk to
They
him, Seth.
scored 14 points in the first half, got shut out. Okay, the Jets are a good defense. Are they good enough to shut out the Eagles?
Today they were. Today they were, Mike. Whatever scheme they were running,
All right.
whatever issues they forced Jalen Hurts to make in the second half, it worked out to them. So on this one day in time this year, they were good enough to shut this Eagles team out in the second half.
He act like he never seen the movie on Any Given Sunday.
Thank you. Any
given Sunday, when you don't show up with the best of your best, you can get beat.
And you know what, Seth?
Because there's only 1,676 players in the National Football League, and this theory in people's minds that, teams suck and that players, because they got a 2-2 record or their offense isn't that good. Stop it, man. You're still playing the best of the best.
Nobody is saying that the Eagles were going to go undefeated. What I'm saying to you here is that this should not have happened. The Eagles had the lead.
I'm not disagreeing
in the
with
final 2 minutes of this game.
We're not disagreeing with you, Mike.
We're not disagreeing with you.
All right.
Telling you it happened,
We
Mike.
are not disagreeing with the fact that this shouldn't have happened. There's no way when you look at on paper that the Eagles were supposed to lose this game. But the fact of the matter is when you put the pads on and the ball's in play,
that's right.
Anything can happen.
We're going to go with if you put the pads on, anything can happen.
It's true.
Absolutely.
Is that what we're going to do
Absolutely.
today? Oh my God, I can't take it.
Mike, you act like you've never been around sports before. You've never seen something like this before.
I have been around sports. I have been around sports.
And you're going to tell me you've never seen this before?
You guys, I believe, are being too cavalier about
the
way they lost this game.
You've not seen major upsets across the board: basketball, football, baseball, hockey.
Any given Sunday. If I was writing a script, I could believe it. If it was a movie script, I could believe it.
It happened today, didn't it? It happened.
If Jamie Foxx was on the field, I could believe it.
Oh my God! Oh my goodness, Seth.
Any given
Seth,
Sunday.
I'm turning him over to you today, man. You can have him today, Mike. Seth.
I'm stunned. I'm
Seth,
stunned by both of y'all's reaction.
Hey, listen.
I am.
I'm not happy that the Eagles lost. There's a number of things that I'm not happy with. I'm not happy with the fact that they didn't come out and run the football, establish the running game in order to get to the pass. They just thought that they could line up every single down and just throw the ball. I'm disappointed that, we didn't get up and be more aggressive at the line of scrimmage and put more pressure on Zach Wilson and force him to throw some interceptions and create some turnovers. I'm disappointed, that Devontae Smith, after not getting the ball, dropped 2 or 3 of them today. So I'm not saying that it's okay.
All right, let me ask you about the game plan then. Let me ask you about the offensive game plan and what you saw there.
Terrible.
It was a terrible game plan.
Okay, well,
that's on Brian Johnson.
Somebody's got to be accountable for that, right?
Brian Johnson.
You can't just go, well, things like this happen if the game plan stinks to the point where they can't move the football against a zone defense or they can't establish the running game and they go away with it. It's a terrible coaching day as well.
Brian Johnson. There's no excuse for running the football only 22 times against a defense giving up $146 a game.
Exactly.
And he put the ball up in the air 45 times. There's no excuse for that.
In his zone defense, is that slant to A.J. Brown open the whole time? How many times did they go to that?
Let's see. He had
How many times did they go to
catches.
a quick passing game against that kind of a defense?
Not enough.
Mike, I've talked about this before. The problem with Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni and oftentimes Jalen Hurts is that they are reluctant to take what the defense is giving you. They're so enamored with the big plays, the explosive plays, and not giving up the explosive plays, that they lose sight of the fact that when you're playing against teams that play as much zone as they face today, that, like the first series, They went 19 plays, 90 yards.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that. You understand what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. If you got to do that 4 times in a game and score every single series, there's nothing wrong with that. 19 plays, 90 yards, and then a 1-yard touchdown. Listen to me, okay? There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But people are so enamored with throwing the ball all over the map and the big plays and whatnot. And then when you play these defensive wizards that know how to keep the ball under the shell of the defense, and all zones are not created equal. Most people play zone. We play zone where we drop to a landmark. You got flat players and you got hook players, and they sit there and they're looking at the quarterback, and you got routes that are designed to beat those, okay? What the Jets do is they play a combination of both. They play zone match. So soon as a guy gets in your zone, that's your guy. You latch on to him, okay? So now they're playing zone. The quarterback thinks it's zone, and he's waiting for guys to hit certain marks or find the dead zone in the zone, and instead of them just sitting on their landmarks, they match up with the guy. Now all of a sudden the guy you thought was going to be open isn't open, you know? So and there's no way you can decipher that until it's like in the moment. That's why you got to be disciplined enough to just take the check down. Just take what the defense is giving you instead of trying to force the ball down the field.
So they had 2 chances to do that in the fourth quarter. 2 chances. They got to the Jets 42 twice in the fourth quarter. The last with 11-11 on the bomb to A.J. Brown, a monster play where he bodied up the cornerback and makes a reception down there. From there they get what? They get ragazzi, as we say in Italy. They get that. They missed field goal, and before is the sack interception. So they made big plays to get to a spot, and in the fourth quarter didn't move the ball at all any further. Now come on. Are you kidding me? This offense can't move. Once they get a big play that buoys them, they can't move the ball any further to clinch the deal in this game.
Mike, as potent as this offense is, every week it's not going to be perfect. There are going to be landmines along the way,
They got
Mike.
starting
And this was
field position at the 42,
I
Derek.
I get that, Mike. But you have to give credit where credit is due. Robert Saleh's defense came out and played today, okay? They flat out came out and played today. They forced some of the issues. Granted, the Eagles didn't help themselves dropping the ball, play calling, whatever you want. The discrepancy of 45 passes to 22 runs starts with Brian Johnson. You control the clock. You control the clock, it's a different ball game. He played right into the Jets' hands.
Okay, so
it's on Brian Johnson.
Okay, so when they get to the 42, how about an offense that has some rhythm? All right, let's use some rhythm here. Let's run. Let's throw a slant. Let's do something to control the football to get even closer. Nothing.
And you do it. So let's go back to who's it on then? That's on the coordinator, right?
Okay, it's on the coordinator. It's also maybe on a quarterback who couldn't make a play there.
Maybe the quarterback couldn't overcome what Robert Saleh was throwing at him at times, Mike. And how many times have we talked about coordinators who've given this offense fit this year?
He couldn't overcome?
He couldn't overcome.
He
did.
He almost won the MVP last year. All of a sudden he can't play.
Almost. They almost won the Super Bowl. Did they win it? Did he win the MVP?
He can't overcome.
What do you mean, Mike?
He's a talent.
So there's a bunch of talents. You don't think other teams have talents also? They get paid to make plays.
I tell you.
It happens.
I'm trying to crack you guys, and I'm not cracking you.
It's not going to happen. No, Mike.
All
We're watching this game. I've been covering this game too long, Mike. We see it happen every year.
All right.
Happens all the time.
It's just the realistic nature, man. You're going to face a team every once in a while that's really motivated to compete against you, and the longer you let them hang around, I've seen it, I've experienced it way too many times. The longer you let a team that you're supposed to beat hang around, the more problems you're going to have in the end. Because all of a sudden, Zach Wilson started to look like he believed he could throw the ball enough.
Where?
Wait a minute. Let me finish what I'm saying. Okay? All of a sudden, Zach Wilson decided to look like, maybe I can get something done here. Breece Hall, in the second half, he started running with much more conviction. The defensive players for the Jets started flying to the football with a lot more conviction. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because they hung around so long that they began to believe that, hey, you know what? We've got a chance to win this football game.
I saw nothing that Zach Johnson did to Zach
Mike,
Wilson
Mike,
that
you can
Zach
say,
Wilson did
you can
to
say
win
whatever,
this game for the
You can
Jets.
say whatever you want to say.
Zero.
Zach Wilson has lost more football games for the Jets than he's won. He did not lose a football game for the Jets today.
He didn't
and the
turn
Jets
the ball
won.
over.
Okay? So you can disparage him all you want. He did enough to keep it close enough until the defense could do what they need to do for the Jets to win the game.
This is a guy who came into the game with 4 touchdown passes and 5 interceptions. Did he throw a pick today? He didn't play a world beater of a game, but all his coach asked him to do, don't cost us the game. Don't make a mistake. He got hit enough. He was sacked 5 times, didn't fumble the ball, didn't turn the ball over. He gave his team a chance to win. All of a sudden, his team's looking around. Man, we're only down 2 points.
And
we might have a chance
They were
here.
down 2 points, and they still would have been down 2 points if Jalen Hurts doesn't throw an interception.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's the bottom line. Whatever they did enough to win the game, they still trailed and probably would have lost the game had Hurts thrown an incompletion on that play.
How many quarterbacks do you see Mike throwing the double and triple coverage at times?
The bad ones do.
No, they don't.
The bad ones
Hall of
throw it into
Famers
double
do too.
coverage.
Hall of Fame quarterbacks do too, Mike.
Very rarely.
Okay. So Jalen Hurts has played. We were lauding him how he threw for 300-something yards last week.
Okay.
So he came back and had a bad game today.
We laud him, and we
He
can
played
criticize him when he played a
I said,
bad game.
Look, like my guy told me on the sidelines with the team, we played like ass today. That's what he said, Mike. That's the best way to describe it. The team played like ass today.
And the beauty of that statement is they did play like ass and still should have won the game.
Still should have, but they didn't.
Not after 4 turnovers, they shouldn't have.
4 turnovers.
They got what they deserved.
They still
If
could
the
have won the game, but
turnover
they
doesn't
did.
happen, they're down 3
No,
turnovers.
they got
Right?
what they.
If
they-
the fourth one doesn't
they
happen,
got
they would have won
they-
the game with 3
no,
turnovers.
They got what they deserve. You cannot turn the football over in the National Football League and expect to win football games. I don't care what anybody says.
All right. We'll take a break. Guess who's coming in? I bet you Mark Farzetta agrees with me. I bet you Farzetta's steamed.
You act like I'm not steamed. I'm over here.
He act like we just.
I don't know what you're doing over there. Like you're sitting back drinking a Diet Coke
No,
or
he
something.
just wants us to like.
He's trying to egg us
He
on.
wants us
you
to
guys have
beat the Eagles
some
up with
kind
him.
of, some kind of unity bond or something today. I can't figure it out.
Somebody's got to be the voice of reason
Farzetta's
up
got
here.
to even it out for me now. It is the Lehocky Eagles postgame show live from Ocean Casino.